in celebration of World Watercolor Month, I intend to transform the sketches that I have created in the sketchbook into mini masterpieces using various watercolor paints. So I encourage you to pull out your sketchbook or anything that you want to work on, hopefully watercolors, to paint along with me. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, I'll be right back.
Welcome back to Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous.
All right, now, so in the month of June, there was the Joy of June Challenge, which was hosted by Diane Antone. You can find her here on YouTube. And I took the opportunity to begin creating some sketches in this sketchbook. I didn't do a whole lot. I didn't do it every day. I did it a couple times each week. And so I'm going to share with you what I have created thus far, which was a whole lot more than I haven't sketched. So what you see will be a true beginner, a newbie's start in sketching. So I know I'm being real ambitious when I say I'm going to watercolor, because I've done very little watercoloring and I've never sketched before. So, I'm pretty proud of what I've done thus far, and hopefully you'll find that I did a good job. And if I didn't, I'm still progressing. So there we have that. Now, what you see here is just a not really even a landscape. I will be honest with you. When I was doing the printable, the pages that I purchased from Christy Rice Paint Crush over on Amazon, there were pages, pre-printed watercolor pages that I used the brush that I received, the travel brush set, to paint. And so, there was leftover paint. I didn't want to lose it, and I still needed to use the palette to create more art, use more different colors, I should say. And as a result, there was paint left in the palette. So I just added it to this page. And then during last month in June, I went on ahead and just threw a sketch on it. So it really isn't anything that is worth hooping and hollering about, but I think it's cute with the little sailboats and the birds in the sky and the little turtle off to the side. And I guess that's supposed to be rocks. Honestly, I just was doodling one day and that's what we came up with. Now, this was actually my very first sketch. So this was sketch number 4. This was my first sketch. One of the prompts was sketch something in your everyday life, something that's on your desk, something that you're looking at. And this was a pair of glasses on my workstation. And so here you have that. It was just on my desk. And so let's see, number 2, I wanted to use watercolor paint. So I did growth, change, evolve, adapt, bloom. And I think I used what was in here as well. At this point, I had already started on something else, I do believe. So I just used those paints and wrote and doodled, and there we have that. Sketch number 3, which I am actually very proud of, is my childhood home. Now, this is a similar depiction of it, along with our neighbor's home. I've taken some artistic liberties here. But for all intents and purposes, this is what my home looked like. It was a duplex, and we lived on the lower level. And actually, our landlord lived up here with his wife and family. So there was 5 of us down here and 4 of them up there. And you'll eventually see this again in future sketches, because I do intend to not perfect it, but I want to get it I want to progress a little further in sketching and eventually put this the last version of it, watercolor it, and frame it for my own home, which looks nothing like this. And then, so that was number 3. Number 4 was a stack of books, a little stack of books. And so this was just what was in front of me. That was on my desk. Some of it's, I had a stack of books on my desk, but what I did was I just took some artistic liberties and decorated them different, just so to give them some interest, because they didn't look like this. And as you can see, the top one is a journal, right? Which I think I did a good job. And I did this in pencil, so there's a little bit of shading there Just trying to bring in some of the skills that I'm learning as I am progressing. And so that was 4. And I think the last one, there's quite a few other ones here. Not quite a few, but let's see. There's number 5, just some squiggly circles. I intend to lay paints in here and blend them just to see what comes out of it. Just a fun exercise. And then here's number 6, a butterfly. Now I hadn't added any detail to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that with watercolor or if I plan to overlay this with ink, but you know, we shall see. And I think that might be it. This is just some leftover paints from when I was panning some tube paints, but believe me, we will work with this one way or the other. And then I just, while it was wet, I just took a paper towel and dabbed it to get some texture there. You know, a little bit of texture on the page. So we shall see what happens there with that one. So I'm excited to get started. And today I will be using this. Let's make sure there's nothing else in here. And I may very well continue to add more sketches in here as time permits. You know, perhaps through my work day or when I'm in class, not class, but there's quite a bit I do on Zoom, things that I need to sit for. So I'll utilize that time to possibly add some additional sketches in here. I mean, it is a sketchbook for all intents and purposes, right? So we've got that going. And so in here, I think I have, this is the Aquarius set. All right, now let me make sure that I am being transparent. I've been in watercolor for about 1.5 years. I've done more collecting than doing. Keeping in mind that I am a wife, I work full time. I'm also a mom, child of God. So there's ministry related activities that I participate in. There's less time nowadays for me to create. And so I also create content here on YouTube. And I also host our Facebook group, The Maker Exchange. Now, let me just pause right there and encourage you, if you would love to share like I like to share, I welcome you to join our Facebook group, The Maker Exchange. There's a link down in the description box. And there you can post some of your creations, whether it's watercolor or some other medium, you know, whether you knit, sew, whatever. You're welcome to head over there and drop your content, engage with the community. And you know, you never know, you might find something else that you want to dibble and dabble in. But that being said, you're welcome to join. I look forward to seeing you guys over there. And over there you'll find you know, random things posted by me, not necessarily all creative information. Sometimes it's just a photo of my backyard, you know, just a little inspiration there, or me chit-chatting. And there's also the Patreon community for those who like a little behind the scenes, a little bit of extra information, what's going on artistically, creatively in my community, local vendors, art exhibits and things of that nature. I post that information over there. I post a lot of the extra content over on Patreon. And then there's also the monthly freebies and whether it's the digital downloads, some surplus items that I've purchased and want to share. And oftentimes I'll create things and send them out to the members there. So there's additional ways that we can all connect and learn from one another. And in these trying times and changing times, this is one of the ways that we can connect and feel a part of the community. You don't actually have to, you know, come to a, what do you call it, a craft along. We can do it right here using the digital world that has already been created. So that aside, there is a lot going on in the World Watercolor Month on a variety of different channels. So I encourage you to, you know, explore here on YouTube. If you're looking to get started or you're a beginner like me, there's a ton going on. And so I'm finding quite a bit of interesting things out here. Now, if you're not familiar with World Watercolor Month, it's in the month of July. It's hosted by the creator of Doodle Wash, Charlie O'Shields, and I think he's been doing this since 2016. So, you know, we're almost at the 10-year mark. I've only been participating for the last 2 this is the second year. So granted, yeah, I was real new last year, but I intend to go a little deeper this month, and so that is where we will start and stop with the the chit chat, and let's go ahead and dive into what we've got going on here. So what I want to do, because I know that these glasses will not, there are sketches in here that I do believe that are in ink that will bleed, because I didn't even take the time to check to see if it was waterproof ink. I just grabbed a pen. So we're going to start today with the one that I've done in pencil. And that way we don't have to worry about whether or not the ink blurs or blends, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. That's how informed I am on the vocabulary, the watercolor vocabulary. But so again, we are using the Roman Schmal Aquarius set. And I'm going to go ahead and spray this down, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me take the Daniel Smith out, and now I'm doing this before work, as I should. I don't need all those colors. I know I don't. I wish I had some masking fluid so I could mask off the glasses and finish it last, but we're going to work with what we got today, you know. And I also need to get some water. I think I have some clean water here. It's relatively clean. Maybe I should clean that out. I'll be right back.
1 week later.
Okay, now listen, in full transparency, it's been a few days since I recorded the first part of this video. You know, this is essentially chronicles of a busy creative. So oftentimes I'll start the process and I'll be carried away to either work or life. And so I'm picking back up so that we can... This will be my first time painting something that I've sketched. Now, granted, this is like one of my very first sketches. It's actually the first sketch in the sketchbook. And so I'm excited. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but here we are. I hope you guys have your, you know, whatever y'all working on. I hope y'all have that with you. Now, let me bring y'all down just a bit so y'all can see. All right. Now, first things first, I am going to use this Princeton. I started to pull out the Joy Traveler travel brush set by Christy Rice, but I decided against it. I'm just going to go for what I know today. All right, now I am left-handed. I have no idea why I feel like putting things on the right-hand side of me is what I should be doing, but I'm mistaken by even thinking that. All right, so... enough fussing. Let's go ahead and get this. Now I've gone ahead and let me move that out the way. I've pre-wetted some of these. Now I'm trying to think, what do I want the background to look like? I'm thinking, and let me take any extra paints out of here that don't need to be before we get started. See, and my brush is probably dirty too. Let's get that. Because I'm gonna make a mistake or two, but we don't want to start off with a mistake. So I'm gonna take some yellow. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take some yellow. Take that. Let me just add a little water to it. I'm not gonna have the background yellow, but what I'm going to do is tint it just a bit to give it something like a more of a wood tone. That's where I'm going with this. And then once I have that, I'm going to reach for some of that brown, and hopefully I'll get this right the first try. That looks like I'm giving too much over there on the brown. All right, let's see what we got here. Still not quite, not that certain, but you know, let me pull you guys back up one sec. There we go. And swing you out. All right, I think we got more of the space in the shot. All right, so let's see what we're working with. It's still a little yellow. Let's dilute it a little bit. I know what I'm looking for. This is not it. Let's add a little red. See if that might be too much, but let's see. That's more of a wood tone though. It's gonna dry light anyway, so let's go with that. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what I will do, should I start with the background or should I start with, yeah, let's do the background and we'll rework it as we go along. Yeah, because then it'll need to be shaded. And who knows if this is the right way to do this. Now, I'm thinking that, do I want to do, I'm going to go a little lighter in the inside here. So I think I want to bring in just a hint of white. Will that make it lighter? Somebody's going to say, no, girl, that is not how you lighten the color, but she's going to try it. And she just dirtied up the white. Not a problem though. Let's see if that makes it lighter. No, it does not. Probably not noticeably anyways. I'm getting cauliflower back there. And I don't necessarily like it. Let me re-wet. It looks like I'm lifting at this point. Well, we're experimenting, so this is what we're getting. Okay, we don't stop messing with that. All right. Let's go a little bit lighter in here. There we go. And then we're going to have to dry it. Go a little bit lighter. And I don't know what white that is. It's white, like titanium white. No, that's titanium buff, I'm thinking. I don't remember what white that is. But I think when I bought it, I was attempting to buy titanium buff and got the wrong thing. Okay, so hopefully this will dry lighter than the outside. Okay, now I mixed a little bit of a blue. I took this and mixed it with the brown so that I can get a royal blue. And we're going to attempt, hopefully this is dry enough, we're going to attempt to get these glasses. You are coming along on a journey, honey. And I think I better switch. I think I have a smaller brush. Let me go ahead and stop playing myself like I know what I'm doing. Hold on. All right, now this is not a watercolor brush per se, but we are going to see what happens when you use you know, a standard run-of-the-mill garden variety brush with watercolor paints and see what happens. And I'm not sure if this is going to hold the pigment well. I'm going to remix it because I can see over on the other side right here. I use a variety of colors to get that gray. I was going for Payne's gray, but that's more like has a more of a smoky color to it, which I may end up using on this background. So I don't even know if I got enough of it, but I'll water it down. We'll see what we get, but let's move along with the glasses for now. This might end up looking real kindergartenish, but we are going to do what we can with what we have here. Okay, and hopefully it'll turn out relatively non-juvenile. That's the goal anyhow. Let's see if we can add some shadowing in here. Like, you know, like I know what I'm doing. We're going to try. Assuming that the light source is coming from over here. I think that's how we do it, right? Let's try this thing and see what we got. And then I'm going to pull out some type of a sketch pen so I can redefine things. All right, so as I am looking for my pen. A couple of things that I am learning. One, I need a whole lot more practice. I say that lovingly and honestly. And two, you know, I have a lot of respect for those who get on this camera, get on this here YouTube, and share their creations with us, imperfect or perfect. I have a desire to perfect the things that I'm working on, but that does not always equate to having the skill at the time to pull it off. So that being said, practice makes progress, and so I will continue progressing. Now, what I'm doing now is I was looking for a broad permanent ink, as well as white. My jelly roll pen, I've got that. I've got my micron. That's too fine. Well, let's see. Will it be all right for that? Maybe I should start with a small. Yeah. All right, we'll do that. That doesn't seem dark enough, but for what it's worth, I don't think it really matters at this point. This is not going into... Oh, I got another one. Here we go. All right, let's see what the jelly roll does for this. Not much. Not much in terms of reflection. Is this the one that I liked? This is. Now, I normally get better success with the jelly roll, but maybe I need to use it elsewhere first. It needs to get on a roll. The jelly roll needs to be on a roll. And I am not having much success with that. Okay, Miss Jelly Roll is giving me absolute hell, so I'm not going to be using her today. But what I will use is this Posca knockoff. I do have some Posca pens, and I think I unboxed them already. That really didn't do much, but let's move on. Let's move on before I get discouraged. Too late. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of go back over the outline of what I sketched to kind of get this to look a little cleaner, because the painting wasn't as neat as we would like for it to be. However, we can still, you know, bring it all together with redefining the sketch lines. It's definitely not going to have the full sketch effect, but, you know, for what it's worth, we are attempting to clean it up, you know, best we can. Yeah, let me not try to do straight lines, because that's only going to add to the expectation that this should be a little cleaner. And that ain't what you're about to get here. All right, yeah. Now, let me say this. Am I, you know, just thrilled with the outcome? Not really. Not really. But what I will say is that I am proud of myself for allowing this to be viewed, so that you can see, when I say I'm a beginner, I am not saying that for humility purposes. It's fact. Half the time when I'm dealing with the watercolors at this stage, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I am listening. I'm absorbing the information that the pros are giving. Doing my best to take notes and remember to apply that information as I move forward. But it doesn't always mean that the moment that they give it out, that it's being implemented in the same fashion. I may get it wrong. I am getting it wrong. But that's okay. Because in a year or two from now, I'm going to look back on this sketch and I'm going to say, girl, bravo, look how far you've come. Because I do intend to stick with it. One of the reasons is because this is definitely not one of those things that you can master overnight. You can't practice 17 times in a week and come out with a completely different skill level. It really takes muscle memory. It takes you playing with the paints, understanding the paints, as well as the paper, the brush, and then committing to consistently working at it. And that's where I'm at. Do I have a whole lot of time to dedicate to this art? Not really. But I do have a passion to learn it, as well as a few other mediums. So as I move forward here, I plan to bring you guys along. Once I get a little bit more comfortable in watercolor, I do intend to branch out into oils, oil paints. That will probably be a year out from now. But for what it's worth, that's definitely a medium. See, like this looks a little too, it's a little dark, but we're learning. This is still the learning phase. And also different grades of watercolor. You got student grade, artist grade, so on and so forth. So, as I progress, and depending on the brand, will determine whether or not I use the student grade or the professional grade or what have you. It also depends on what my wallet is looking like at that time when I'm purchasing. Do I want to save up for the better level? Am I patient enough to continue working with what I have, or do I want to immediately jump ahead? And also, I've learned that professional brand or student grade in all brands does not necessarily mean that it's a lesser quality. It may very well be just its light fastness. So, I'm learning, and I am enjoying the process of doing so. Now I'm coming to a close on this sketch, and while I'm still tinkering with this, I want to thank you all for stopping by, for watching. If you enjoyed me fumble here with this and you want to see more, I encourage you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because you don't want to miss upcoming ones if in fact you are not currently a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, thanks for sticking with me and for allowing me to grow in front of your very eyes. And I am going to continue sharing with you as I move along. I know I have a metallic. I'm not going to do, yes I am, just be quiet, girl. I feel like I need to do a quick little splatter of some effect here, and I think I'm going to do it with this here black. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we'll do. If I can get enough on here. She's gonna make a mess of things. She is already doing that, ma'am. Oh, here we go. This is what I should have did before I started adding the, it's the wood tone. These glasses were on a table, That was wood, and so what I'm doing is giving it a wood tone vibe for what it's worth. It does take your eye away from some of that blotchiness. Some. Nothing is gonna do exactly that, honey. This is definitely, it's definitely something. It's progress in motion. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's it. That is it. So, did she come out with a masterpiece? I think for what it is that for my skill set, I think this is great. I think I did a good job. I think I am representing for the newbies here on the set, on the scene, you know, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I, one, attempted the very first sketch, number one. Two, that I came back despite the length of time that I was away for, and I came back for the watercolor, which is so intimidating for me. And then three, I had enough enough creativity to kind of mask the foolishness of this splotchiness, you know. So that may not be a big deal for everybody. It really isn't even a big deal for me, but I think it turned out great. And so I'm proud of myself. And so my message to you would be, just keep practicing, keep playing, and applaud yourself for the bravery that it takes to continue moving forward in light of how imperfect the start may be. So that being said, listen guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you have gone ahead and hit the thumbs up button, because hey, give me an A for effort, right? And if you're not already subscribed, again, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that I can bring you more of my newbie journey and adventures. All right. And until we are back here together on YouTube, Patreon, and wherever else you may see this video, stay encouraged, stay blessed, stay creative and crafty. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community, and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.